you can't explain your first game idea in one sentence, it's overscoped. So let me show you how you can use this very simple yet powerful concept to actually finish your first game. So what is this thing to explain your first game idea in one sentence? Why does this work? What do I mean? Well, it's this concept of a one-sentence game pitch, and it's especially important for your first game, but it really applies to all games in general. Because your first game, it should be small, and it should have one main mechanic or one main like twist, one thing about it. It shouldn't have like 3 different ands. Oh, you can do this, and this, right? It should be one thing, one sentence, preferably no commas or no ands, literally just one short sentence. And that's going to do 3 things to you. It's going to force clarity, it's going to force constraints, and it's also going to force commitments. So let's break down what it actually does. It first gives you clarity, so you must state what the player actually does. You need to explicitly say what the game is, very short. And it's also going to force commitment, so you have this one sentence that's going to imply the first playable that you have, and you can test the idea immediately. So the game idea, you should be able to test it immediately, and you should be able to like execute on this idea in a very short prototype. But I'm telling you this is very important. This is only going to work if you are specific. This one sentence game pitch thing, it doesn't work if you are not specific. You say like, oh, it's an RPG city builder, right? Okay, that's one sentence, but that's not specific. You need to explicitly say what the player does. If you try to break down this vague idea of an RPG, try to break it down. Okay, you gather materials, you kill enemy AIs, it's an open world, you can build a house, it's 3D, all these things. When you actually break it down and be more specific, you're going to figure out that this, simple one sentence, it's too vague, and vagueness is going to hide your scope. When you make the game idea or the pitch more specific, in this case, it's going to expose everything, and it's going to expose the workload that the game is actually going to take. So when you're writing, it needs to be specific. Let me give you a good example of a very specific one sentence game pitch so you can understand. So it's going to be fight 1 enemy per room and choose 1 upgrade before the next room. That's the one sentence game pitch. It explains the game idea very clearly. You can probably have an image in your mind, or most likely you can try to imagine this game right now, and it's also very clear how you're going to prototype this idea. Just set your goal, fight 1 enemy per room and choose 1 upgrade before the next room. Okay, you need to make the fighting, you need to make the rooms, and you need to make the upgrades, right? Just quickly, before I tell you how to specifically write one, and we're going to look at a few concrete examples, I first want to mention that if you want to release your first game, Smartini is the simplest and quickest way to do so. I'll walk you through everything from learning basic code to prototyping and actually shipping the game itself. As a guarantee I give to everyone, if you join Smartini and you follow the path and you don't release within 60 days, I'll personally coach you for free because I'm so confident that you will release. I'm literally risking my own time here, so I know this works, right? You can join the other students inside of Smartini with the first link below if you want a step-by-step plan and a guarantee that you're going to release in 60 days. So now, how do you actually write a one-sentence game pitch and actually write it in a way that you can make a prototype with it? It needs to specifically explain what the player does, how often the player does a thing, and also under what limits. That's the thing. So be as specific as you possibly can in this, where it's still one sentence. Be as specific as possible. And then the thing that you describe, you should be able to make a basic prototype to explain or like show this very simple idea in a prototype that you can make in 2 to 6 hours. That's the rule. That's how you write a one-sentence game pitch. So let's look at 2 concrete examples. Let's start with the bad one. A physics-based city builder where you manage resources, citizens, traffic, and disasters. The first thing is that it's a genre label, so you say it's a city builder. That's very vague, right? It's also multiple systems. There's no like one thing, one clear twist. And there's also no description of the player action or win condition. A better version of that would be place 1 building per day to keep the city alive until winter. That's much better because there's one single action, there's a hard constraint, and there's also clear survival stakes. Another bad example is going to be a cozy farming game about building relationships and restoring a village. And obviously that gives you like an emotional promise, but there's no like measurable gameplay loop. So it sounds very nice, cozy. Like if you're a girl, this is probably like a one-sentence game pitch that you will write. That's why I included it. No, it's not. But I imagine if you are a girl, this is like a cozy game that you want to make, but you can't just write the game pitch as like an emotional promise. It needs to be specific, it needs to include what the player does, have a measurable gameplay loop, and so on. A better example of this would be grow crops to pay rent every 3 days before the landlord shuts your farm down. That's a much better one. You have a clear failure state, the landlord shuts your game down or your farm down. You have a clear timer, and you also have a clear motivation, like why you're doing this. And also like obviously what the player does, like you grow crops. And that's it for this video. Hope this helps you a ton. If you want to release your first game in only 60 days, remove all of the overwhelm, and it's going to be the quickest and best way to do so. I'm also going to beta test your game just before release. You get that totally included in your price. It's the first link in the description if you want to join Smart Hitting. Either way, hope this video helped you a ton.